Here at Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, I'm pleased to tell you that this place is always a hive of activity and creative energy. And if you've never been to our campus before, I hope you get the chance to visit and see our incredible buildings for yourself. From the beautiful Carn foyer, our concert and theatre venues, to our rehearsal studios and chamber performance spaces, this place never fails to uplift and inspire me. We are somewhere that exists to inspire and develop talent. We see our students as professional artists at the start of their careers. So I'd encourage any of you to come here with a professional mindset, ready to work, ready to learn, to grow, and to collaborate with others. A conservatoire is somewhere that offers vocation-based training, where everything that you study here is to support the artist you are and the one that you want to become. Our degree programs are a combination of performance and academic rigor, and that's why a conservatoire undergraduate degree is 4 years compared with 3 years at a university, so that you can have the time to complete both your academic work and go really deep with your instrumental, vocal, or compositional craft. We have recently completely rewritten our bachelor and master's degree programs, and at 4:30 today, the course leaders of these programs, Andrea Jones and Zoe Smith, will give you more detail about the shape of the courses. But in rewriting them, we had at the forefront of our minds that we wanted to create courses that shape you as an individual and really prepare you for a career as a professional musician in a post-COVID 21st century music industry. As a very broad overview of all our programs, they look at 3 main areas: principal study, so the instrument you audition with or your composition, collaboration, how you make music with others, and also musician in society. So you'll receive tuition and be assessed on all 3 of those vital components in order to prepare you for a career as a portfolio musician. As a college, we are increasingly interested in the "and" word in our name, the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. Yes, we're a college of music, but by also having drama here in the building, studying at RWCMD is a fantastically interesting experience. You'll spend each day next to musicians from different departments and next to actors, designers, arts managers, stage managers, technical theatre practitioners, and musical theatre performers. We want you to take the opportunity to work in a dynamic, cross-disciplinary fashion, and the flexibility to do that is written into our new BMAS and MMAS programs. To give you more of a feel of the types of opportunities on offer to you as a student here, I'm delighted now to hand over to our Deputy Director of Music, Kevin Price. Over to you, Kev.
Thanks very much, Tim, and lovely to see everyone here, and for our current students and graduates to join us as well. We're very happy to have you with us. Just to give a very brief overview, to give you an idea about the difference between university and conservatoire training, the emphasis here is very much on one-to-one mentorship and tuition. And I think what makes us absolutely exclusive in that area is our relationship with our one-to-one tutors, who are drawn from all areas of their profession, including Welsh National Opera, BBC National Orchestra Wales, top freelancers, embracing a whole range of styles, right through from commercial, jazz, and through into classical disciplines. It's a very interesting relationship that you will develop with your one-to-one tutor, and they will very much become your first point of contact in terms of industry advice, and probably the first person you will turn to for an overview of your progress, but also perhaps even if you need to talk about your general feelings about the course. So that's a very, very important aspect of our training. Within that, though, ensemble training is also very much part of the structure that we've put in place in partnership with Tim, who's breathed new life into the department as Director of Music over the past 3 years. So small ensemble work is very much at the core of our training. And we're looking at ways of further embedding that into society and giving you the opportunity to interact with education departments and with music services, and also to create a residency model that enables small ensembles to gain experience and deliver their work. And then obviously the more traditional large ensemble opportunities like symphony orchestra, opera orchestra, brass band, etc., very much part of that developmental model. Within the music department, we're looking at cross-disciplinary opportunities all the time, trying to break down barriers between traditional perceptions. I mean, a good example is jazz and classical. We're looking at music as being the subject, and that exchange of discipline and that exchange of artistry and craftsmanship is very much what we're all about. And then in a broader sense, that exchange between drama and music is what makes us a very, very special place. And you'll hear more from the students who have joined us today about the kind of opportunities that are generated by that cross-disciplinary approach. And then looking at the really big picture, industry links. We're looking at transforming you from feeling like you're a student to an apprentice professional as you go through the course. And that's that passage from students to apprentice colleague that it really fascinates us, because as you become an industry professional, your ideas start to feed our ideas, and the course adapts and adjusts according to your needs and your development. So I would say, regard yourself from the outset as an individual startup company. Think about what your skill sets are, think about what your aspirations are and where you want to go, because that's what is interesting to us. And I think that's probably a good note to pass back to you, Tim, because we're going to actually now hear from some of those young industry professionals who regard themselves as an individual startup company, and to hear about their journey through college and the way that they've developed and grown, partly as a result of that kind of support network that we've put in place. So, Tim, back to you.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm delighted that the best people you can hear from now are some current students and alumni. And first of all, I'm going to hand over to our new Students' Union President of the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, Natalie Rowe. Thanks, Natalie.
Hi there. Yes, so I have just graduated from the composition department, and I've had a fantastic 4 years. I think one of the best things about college for me is that I have experienced so many different opportunities. As a composer, obviously, the heart of your work is collaboration as well. And being able to be surrounded by a constant flow of very engaging musicians who want to try out new music, and whenever they get the opportunity to perform, they will. It's obviously a fantastic experience in itself, but also the opportunities which combine you with outside professional musicians. So I've had the opportunity to write music for BBC National Orchestra of Wales, and for the Welsh Guards, which was a fantastic trip down to London to have that performed. Also, I have been able to collaborate with the theatre companies that come into college, so combining your work with the actors and writing for different shows, which then get performed within college and then externally as well sometimes. That obviously builds your skill set in many different ways. But also being able to then kind of take your practice but put it into other things, such as through the lockdown, myself and another composer, Jake, we did the Nat and Jake show, which was a fortnightly radio show basically where we showcased new work that was coming out of college, which obviously during COVID couldn't be performed necessarily live in a public setting anymore, so we had to then take that virtually. But then through that I discovered my love for radio and presenting. So I would say there's just a huge and vast variety of different opportunities, which is great. And then obviously being a composer, sometimes you don't get to do the performance side of things in certain situations. However, at college I've not found that in the slightest. In fact, I think my love for performance has only continued. I've completely discovered a whole world of electronic music and performing that. I did my final performance of college in the Doris Dalska Hall, which is behind us here. And that basically I combined live electronic music, which I performed with a group of peer colleagues, but actually some of my best friends, who play acoustic instruments at college, with then some live virtual reality visuals, which another one of my friends from college created. So I think that's a real thing that I grasped when I came to college, was a range of opportunities. And I think I will only sit here and praise it, because I think that's how I've become, well, how I've developed my passion for composing, and how I've become someone who actually really wants to dedicate my time and my career to music. So yeah, and then obviously I've just gone on to become SU president, which is a total another skill set, but obviously something which is totally exciting. And that's the SU, which is there to support students, be the representation and the voice of students, obviously put on different events which cater for a wide variety of people, and also offer a space which is a safe environment for people to come and relax and take a step out of that music world for a second, or step out of, well, I mean, it's still within college, but it totally has a separate entity. So I think it's actually really nice to have that different space. But at the same time, I have sat in the SU drinking a beer and speaking about all the creative stuff that goes on. So it's also a space to share ideas. So yeah, that's a bit about my experience, and I'll pass back to Tim now.
That's gorgeous. Thanks, Nat. And yeah, we're really excited to work with Nat as the new SU president, and can't really speak highly enough of the way that the SU supports students in your journey from every issue. So it could be things on your course, or it could be your accommodation, or any issues you're having. So one of the things that I think I'm most proud of about being director of music here is the supportive, nurturing, friendly atmosphere that we have. And I don't say any of those things lightly. That's genuinely who we are as an institution. Brilliant. Thanks, Nat. I'm now going to hand over to somebody else who's just graduated from the college but is returning to do Emma study. So that is Shaky Parry.
Hello, I'm Shaky, and I'm a flautist, and I graduated back in July. And as Tim said, I'm coming back for more. I've loved my time at college the past 4 years. I remember my first day when I walked into the building that's behind most of us. But it was just, the building itself is so bright and light and welcoming that I felt like I was part of something on the first day, and everyone was so welcoming, students and staff. And I think that's something that's definitely carried on through the 4 years I have been at college, and I'm sure next 2 years as well. But I think even if you're in at 8 a.m. practicing or 8 p.m. practicing, whenever you like to practice, I think there's always something going on. There's always people around. There's always someone to talk to. And I think there's such a variety of people in college. I think that's down to being a music and drama college. You've got a variety of things going on, and people who have interests in different things, which I've really enjoyed. When I decided to come to college, a big part of my decision was down to the teachers, and especially the flute teachers. And I found that your one-to-one tutors is a huge part of your college life. My flute teacher was like a college mum, and I could go to her about obviously my flute and my development, but also you just feel like you've created a relationship with someone you see every week, and it's a really important part of your college life and your development as a musician. And the college has such a high calibre of teachers in every instrument, and you often get to watch a lot of the teachers are from both orchestras that are connected to the college, which I found is really inspiring, to be able to watch your teacher doing what they teach you to do, and being able to watch them sit in an orchestra or in a chamber concert, or you get to be inspired by them outside of the lesson as well, which I think is a really strong thing with college, because you're connected to both those orchestras and you can go and watch their concerts as a student for free, or cheaper than a normal ticket, which is always good when you're a student. My opportunities here at college have been very varied, and I've had a lot of opportunities, even though we've been through a time when we've had COVID. College has still carried on giving those opportunities. So I love college ensembles, so symphony orchestra, chamber winds, wind orchestra, student-led repcos. There are also, you can play in the musical bands, brass bands, but for me personally, it's obviously the wind department. And with these ensembles, they don't just perform in college. So you get to perform in the Dorstowska Hall, which is the main concert hall in the college, but you also get to perform in St David's Hall, which is the main concert hall in the city centre, which is just within walking distance of college, which is really special to be able to perform on such big stage. If you college is I found that college wants to cater to what you have your interest in. They don't push everyone to do exactly the same and to go like a conveyor belt on to do the same thing. I really enjoy chamber music, and I've had loads of opportunities to play. You create your own chamber groups with your friends, with other people in your department, and you get an opportunity. There's a weekly concert in the foyer, which is open to the public, where students play, and they're on a Tuesday. They're called Chamber Tuesdays, and people get to perform what they've been practicing in their practice rooms to the public, and it's often a really successful concert. And you get to go outside college to work with outreach with schools, side by sides. Well, I've done a side by side with Wells Cathedral School last term, and it's just so nice to be able to. The college opens doors to things outside of the building, which I think is really useful when you want to go out into the big world to find a job and find work. A big part of college for me, away from the music and away from practice, as Nat was talking about, is the SU. And I think it's a really important part of college that we've got such a friendly and active SU team, and we've got the SU bar and canteen within the college, because I'd say that's where I've made most of my friends, from all years and all departments. And I think that's been a huge part of my college experience, because I think having that support around you is what helps you get through the harder times when you're maybe struggling or a bit frustrated with playing or whatever. Having that support around you is a real help, I'd say. And the final thing I want to say about my undergrad course is that I think Cardiff itself is such a great place to be. I might be a bit biased. I'm from Cardiff, but I still think it's the best city. And I think there's so much going on. You've got your classical concerts, you've got your pop concerts. I know Coldplay are coming next year. And you've got sporting events, you've got everything's within walking distance. And there's so much going on, but without being overwhelming, I feel like it's a really safe and friendly city to live in. And well, as Tim was saying, I'm going on to do a postgrad, and I'm really looking forward. I think it shows that it's a good place to be if I'm happy to stay for another 2 years. And I'm really excited because I can't wait to develop all the skills I've learned as a musician with my discipline and flute playing, and focusing on becoming an all-round professional and musician, which is what the college likes to focus on, because they want to create all-rounded people that can go and do more than just play your instrument. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There are loads of really good guests and artists coming in next term, which is really exciting. And we've also got a new building, which is the old library in the middle of town, which I've seen on my timetable that I've got a lot of things in that building this term, which is again something really new and exciting. So yeah, I've loved my time here, and I think it's a really good place to be.
Diolch yn galon, Lleucu. Thanks ever so much for that lovely summary of life as an instrumentalist and as a musician here. And yeah, everything Lleucu was saying there about Cardiff, about the new acquisition of the old library, which is an enormous building right next to St David's Hall in the city centre. Lots of exciting things happening. Diolch, Lleucu. Okay, I'm going to hand over now to Eden Clark. Eden, thanks very much.
So, hi everyone. I'm a violinist going into my 4th year, but actually I've kind of had a change of direction. In my 3rd year, I took the concert planning module, which involved a placement within college's academic services. So with Naomi Bailey as orchestral manager and librarian. And I was put on a project with the string soloist group at college and in collaboration with Manchester Collective. And I just loved walking around with a clipboard too much, I think, because now I've decided that's what I want to go do. So I'm still going to be at college, but Naomi Bailey has kindly, since that module in November last year, kept me on training up my skills, let me do extra work in the academic services so that I could go find my own opportunity, which I did. I emailed all the orchestras that I could get my hands on, and Manchester Camerata picked me up. And this is just an example of how something can start in college and you can build your skills and go do things outside of the college. So I got to do a month-long placement as an orchestral manager and a music librarian. I can't quite decide between them yet. And it was amazing. It was the most stressful thing ever, but also so much adrenaline and excitement. I'm so excited to learn so many new skills. And one of the days we had, it was during the heat wave, and we were supposed to play in a glass pavilion, which obviously on the heat wave couldn't really be done. So we had to do a massively quick change. I had to go pick Jess Gillum up from the station and the Brodsky Quartet, bring them to the concert and the music. And it was honestly a nightmare because we had 3 straight stage transitions during it. But we managed it and the concert got through altogether. And all the time whilst I was doing all this work with Camerata and running around like a headless chicken, essentially, I could still bring myself back to all the skills that Naomi, the orchestral manager and librarian here, taught me. And when I get stressed, I just remember what she said, and kind of use those skills that I'm still continuing to work in the academic services. So really building on that. And from my placement in the Camerata, I managed to get an internship with the Welsh National Opera for the year as a music librarian. So despite being dyslexic and dyspraxic, I've still managed to be supported by the college and get these opportunities. And the college have really actually celebrated my successes within professional studies, maybe rather than playing. And I thought that there might be some stigma because I'm not going into violin, but actually they've just been as encouraging and supportive. I'm really looking forward to developing my skills with the WNO within opera librarian work. And yeah, you don't have to just do playing, you can dip into all sorts of areas, and this is just an example of where I'm headed now.
That's beautiful. Thanks, Eden. And yeah, absolutely, we take all of our students as individuals and support, and we aim to support your individual journey. There is no one size fits all with the music industry. The music industry is full of wonderful, varied opportunities, and that might be in orchestral management, or it might be as a player. So it's just important that you're exposed to all of these opportunities, and whoever the person you are, whichever additional things you might be living with. For example, Eden spoke very openly there about her dyslexia and dyspraxia. We see you as an individual, and the student services team that Eden mentioned, Kate Williams and her team, who provide loads of additional support. It's really important to know that those people are there for you if you're moving to a new city, if you're moving to a new college, and to an environment like the conservatoire. Brilliant. Thanks, Eden. And now I'm going to hand over to David Cumming. Thanks, David.
Hi there. So I'm a trumpet player, and I've just recently graduated from the Orchestral Performance Masters at Royal Welsh, and absolutely loved my time there. And on that course, the professional placement schemes that Royal Welsh offer come as part of this course and integrated into the course itself. And those are with Welsh National Opera and the BBC National Orchestra Wales. The BBC placement consists of in-person observation of rehearsals, as well as actually playing in the rehearsals themselves as part of the section, normally shadowing the second player, or if you're lucky, you get a bit of everything, which is nice. And prior to these sessions, you'll also get a one-on-one session with one of the members of the section, covering the repertoire in kind of greater detail. On W&O scheme, you'll get the opportunity to attend and observe these dress rehearsals, as well as playing in full orchestra rehearsals. And as well as that, you also get talks from different members of the W&O staff on topics ranging from performance anxiety, how to approach taxes and finance as a freelance musician, which was incredibly helpful, CV writing, and also how orchestral fixing works, and a lot more other stuff, which is all really interesting to see how that side of the kind of orchestra works and operates. There's also a mock audition held by a panel of the W&O players from your section. This is going to give necessary audition training, including recreating a blind audition, which is incredibly jarring if you haven't done it before. And you're going to get a kind of set piece and a list of excerpts to kind of recreate that experience. And also a highlight of the W&O placement for me was the opportunity to actually perform in 2 of their concerts over the course of the degree, which includes the Opera Gala and the Conductor's Showcase, which are also both collaborating with different courses on the master's degree. So the conducting course and the opera school, which is both fantastic to kind of hear and watch your other fellow musicians at work. It's amazing. And these opportunities to perform in concert with the orchestra as part of the section are like one of the most rewarding parts of the degree. And obviously part of the course is the connections you'll build with the players of the orchestra, and hopefully network with them to eventually lead to getting a little bit of work with them, which is one of the best parts about the potential of the course. Thank you very much.
Sorry, you think after 2 years of COVID, I'd be used to turning my mute off. Thank you, David. Great to hear about that side of, and those industry connections, which are so important to us as an institution. And last but not least, it gives me great pleasure to hand over to Michael Needle. Thank you, Michael.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I am Michael Needle. I am a recent graduate of college, graduated in July. I am a viola player, studied in the string department. But I don't really do viola playing specifically by itself anymore. That is part of what I now do as an actor musician, which was quite a drastic change being at college. I don't know about other people here, but I started college absolutely terrified about going into the music industry. It was very daunting, a very overwhelming experience to think about, and it stuck with me quite a lot. I was surrounded by friends and staff that were 100% there to support me, help me out in any way they could, and eventually a opportunity came up. we were approached by Kevin, who had an idea about taking a children's book and creating it into a bit of theatre. So me and a few friends, there are 7 of us in the company, created what is now the Flying Bedroom Theatre Company. We started just before lockdown and spent the whole of lockdown Zooming every week to do meetings and go through the script and things like that. Do a lot of composing with our incredible composer Natalie Rowe. Woo, we love you. And it kind of threw me into this completely new role that I had no idea existed. I didn't know acting musicians were a thing. I didn't really know what it entailed, but suddenly we had goals, we had performance dates that were starting to appear, and we just cracked on with it. A thing that kind of came up alongside that is, as a company, we needed a producer, somebody who kind of helped everything tick on, helped it all keep going and keep everyone a little bit sane. And I fell into that role completely by accident, but I absolutely loved it. And I still do it. We're now a startup company based in kind of the South Wales area. We've done tours around North Wales. We've gone to St David's, played in Wales Theatre Festival. Many other opportunities have come up. And that's all thanks to the support and the resources that college have. It was completely because of the enthusiasm of the staff and kind of the drive that they had to help us create what we wanted and create the opportunities that were what we were striving for, that made this whole thing happen. And I honestly wouldn't know what I'd be doing with myself at this point, having graduated, if I hadn't have got all the Flying Bedroom stuff behind me. Kind of from that, we've done loads of work with professionals in the industry. We've had directors, performers. We've had conversations with producers and other theatre companies that are in the same position or in a much better position than us, giving us advice. All links that have come through college predominantly. Another great resource is the Uni of South Wales, which we are a part of, has a student enterprise manager who has talks regularly about startup companies that you can run out of uni. And I had a really great conversation with her. Her name is Emma, and she kind of talked me through some of the more legal side of things and how to actually think about setting up a company. Pointed me in the direction of some really great contacts that she had, and that kind of all came from it. I don't think I mentioned, kind of at our core as a company is collaboration within college, within the industry. We have 2 designers, 4 musicians, is that right? Yeah, 4 musicians and a composer, Nat, who also plays, and all of us perform. We all sing, we all play instruments, we all act. And we provide workshops as well. It really just goes to show that you sometimes don't even know what could be out there. You sometimes don't even know what you could want when you're coming to college. You just know that you've got a passion for creativity and a passion for the industry that we're all striving to be in. And college will support you in any way physically possible to help achieve that goal. And it really is just absolutely standout that all of these links with the industry, all of this kind of entrepreneurial stuff that you get to do, it all comes from this incredible environment that is made in the college. So yeah, that's kind of me.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Michael. And yeah, I mean, just picking up on everything Michael was saying there, one of the things I would really encourage all of you to do is to say yes as much as possible when you if you come to the college. There are opportunities here which you might never have ever considered would be open to you, and yet it's something that you might just go along to feeling a little bit scared because you're out of your comfort zone, might change the direction of your life. Little bit of potted history of me. When I went to university, I went as a composer first and foremost, who was a pianist. when I was doing my degree, I kind of had a first taste of singing. I ended up graduating as a singer, doing a master's in opera, then became an opera singer, then became a chorus master for opera, and then I found my way into education. The reason I'm telling you all of that is not to tell you about me, it's just to tell you about that route that I never dreamed I would end up being director of music at a Royal Conservatoire when I was applying. But it's because I was really keen to explore various things, and I would just really encourage you to take the examples all of our young musicians who have spoken today about the power of saying yes, even when it might be quite scary. Okay, we've just got a few minutes left, and there are further sessions later today, but there are some questions that have come up into the chat, so I'll attempt to answer these now. Agatha asks, how many students are typically in a year? So in a cohort, in a BMOS cohort, we have around 80 students, but that might seem like an awful lot of students. You'll spend a lot of your time in your department, and those departments vary in size from some of the smaller departments, for example, harp and guitar, would only have 1 or 2 students per year because of the discipline. But then going up to something like vocal studies or brass, which are typically bigger departments, somewhere in the region of 16 to 20 students in a year. Having said that, as an institution, there are about 800 students all in all. About 500 or so are music students. And I would encourage you to make friends with absolutely everyone, and just not, those conversations, when Nat was talking about those conversations over a beer in the SU with somebody that might be a stage manager or a puppeteer could lead to a really, really beautiful artistic collaboration. Or you could, who knows, you might meet your future wife or husband in this very building. So Hannah's asking now, if I prepared contrasting pieces for my audition, but they're not before 1899, will that be a problem? So all of our audition requirements are on the website, and Cara, you'll just see, if you scroll into the bottom of the chat, has put audition guidance there. Hannah, what I would ask you to do is, if you have a very specific question like that, then I would ask you to get in touch with admissions on the email address that is there. They can put you in touch with your head of department, and you might be able to find a way of working that. But have a look at all the audition guidance that's there. What sort of vocal study do you do in your college? Well, it's a good question. There is a session later today. So the rest of the afternoon, I'll give you a breakdown of the sessions that we're doing, but there is a specific vocal studies and opera session, which I will be leading on with our new interim head of vocal studies and interim head of opera, Mary King and James Southall. So Iestyn, I would encourage you to come along to that session this afternoon. I'll give you the time for that in a minute. Thank you ever so much for being here today, and thanks, massive thanks to all our students. I hope to see some of you on an audition video very, very soon. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Hwyl.